You know, that wasn't his best show there, because we talked about it. Electric is the English, because now Sam is good.
You were in London.
That's the use of it.
He could get away with it without even
My name is John Herbert, and with Mel Endring, I'm co-director here at CSPS. I know a lot of you are, thank you, I know a lot of you are here for the first time. Have a very, very active program, and we hope you'll come back if this is your first time here. We have coming up this spring lots of music, including singer-songwriters like Sean Phillips, who's been really working since the 60s, and John Gorka, who's been around since the 80s, along with lots of new people who you probably haven't even heard of. You can check out some of our flyers as you leave tonight, and they'll tell you somewhat about what's coming up here. Even though the venue is called CSPS, the organization that runs it is called Legion Arts, and our website is legionarts.org. You can go there and find out more about what's going on here. You can also sign up for our weekly email list. We send out a notice about every Tuesday or so about new additions to the calendar and stuff. The cornerstone of our program here is actually the visual arts, and I hope you got a chance to check out these really incredible video portraits by internationally renowned theater artist named Robert Wilson. There's a brochure here which gives you a little more information about Wilson. The portraits in our space, if you are mystified by who they are, the one right behind you is the actor Robert Downey Jr. In the side gallery here we have the world sumo wrestling champion. We have the actor Alan Cumming, he's the guy in the white frock eating the chocolate cookie. And in the back there we have New York choreographer Lynn Lucinda Childs, who was also the star of a famous Robert Wilson production called Einstein on the Beach. Anyway, if you like these videos, we have 4 of them here. There are about 30 more at the University of Iowa Museum of Art in Iowa City, so they'll be up through the end of March, so check that show out if you enjoy it. And we can do all these concerts and plays and theater and art because we have great volunteers here. We're largely run by our volunteers. They include tonight in the box office area Lisa Schreihart, Tina Deanda, and Jill Butler. Out in the kitchen we have Jennifer Vick and Amy Winslow. Our usher tonight is Diane Hotelling, and our terrific technicians back there in the booth who will make everything look and sound beautiful include Bill Hart, Chris Mitchell, Shannon Hauerwas, and Tim Fees. Let's hear it for those volunteers. Actually, as I was walking through the theater there, the usher said to me, "This is a little different crowd than you normally get here at CSPS." It's true, we're a little bit more sort of NPR, slightly older demographic maybe, but you guys are a great audience. We're happy you're here. We're sure you'll behave yourselves. Pick up after yourselves before you leave so that Mel doesn't have to do it all tomorrow. But anyway, we are glad you're here, and we pride ourselves on the diversity of our artistic offerings here, so please do check out some of the stuff that's coming up and come back this spring. We kind of specialize actually in introducing artists that no one's ever heard of, but an equally satisfying thing we do here is bring back artists that have been here before, that have gone on and continue to produce great work and release great CDs and make movies and plays, etc., etc. The artist that will be taking the stage in just a moment is certainly in that category. He's been here at CSPS, but it's been much too long since he's taken our stage. This is his brilliant new CD called The Devil You Know. Please put your hands together for Mr. Todd Snider.
Fortune come to you. May some good fortune come to you. She's always cooking up something when I'm feeling down. She knows just what to say to pull me through. but she looks like Booker T and the MG sound. There ain't nothing my girl can't do. Not to change the subject, but have you seen my shoes? I think I left them here the last time I played. Sometimes I feel like all I ever get to do is lose. Sometimes I feel like I got it made. May some good fortune come to you. May some good fortune come to you. Fortune come to you. People say that life is precious and you have to make the most of it, but nobody has proven either thing. When you stand back and you look at the long and the short of it, what else is there to do but sing? Sing, may some good fortune come to you. May some good fortune come to you. You think there's a kid in this entire town that is dreaming of growing up to be a bum? I didn't think you did. But we both know how. That's exactly what some will become. Enough about me. Let's talk about you for a minute. Okay, maybe that's enough. But getting back to me, you know my all-time favorite movie is that one where those two cops who cannot stand each other later under pressure learn to work together. They become great partners, even better friends, and then that one says something funny and the movie ends. Make some good fortune come to you. Sitting there waiting until the county did. And then she's not so bad now that she doesn't even pay my bail. If I was her, I'm not so sure I wouldn't keep on moving down the trail. I'm sitting here waiting in the Tillamook County jail. I got a lump on my head and a boot print on my chest from what these guys in here call the Tillamook County lie detector test. Well, I did my best, but as you might have guessed, it is a tough test not to fail. I'm sitting here waiting in the Tillamook County jail. I get one phone call, too tired enough for cold, the gray walls closing in. If I ever do get out on that highway again, I ain't ever going back to Tillamook County. I ain't ever going back to Tillamook County. It all started when I had a little trouble with this guy on the highway crew. And that lying son of a gun, he told him I'd done some things that I didn't do. They're coming running for me, now 101 lights flashing on my tape. Sitting here waiting in the Tillamook County jail. One phone call, too tired enough for a cold gray wall closing in. If I ever do get out on that highway again, I ain't ever going back to Tillamook County. I ain't ever going back to Tillamook County. No. I'm still hoping that she's not so mad now that she doesn't even pay my bail. We came down on vacation, I'm gonna leave on probation, have to send all my money to the mail. Send all my money to the Tillamook County jail. I'm sending all of my money to the Tillamook County jail. I'm sending a portion of tonight's money out to Tillamook County. Oh. You can't talk to me like that, boss. I don't care who you are. If you don't wanna have to hang your own drywall, don't push me too far. Boomtown work ain't that hard to come by. Boomtown workers are. You might be the one running the show, but that doesn't mean you're in charge. I was looking for a job when I found this one. Don't need to work like you need the work done. You look like you're under pressure. I was looking for a job when I met you. I'm sharing with two guys over at the Motel 6, Bob. I'm sending every dime I make here home to my ex-wife. I just did 2 years and 28 days. With a little bit of aim, I've been in there for my life. So you see, broke won't take much. I'm getting used to neither will it bar by a jailhouse wall. Watch what you say to someone with nothing. It's almost like having it all. I was looking for a job when I found this one. No need to work like you need to work. You look like you're under pressure. I was looking for a job 2 weeks ago when I met your boss, don't you remember? When I found this one, no need to work like you need the work done. You look like you're under a little bit of pressure, boss. You know what I really ought to get is a job like the job you got, Chief. You know, I just drive around all day checking up on guys like me. Yelling from the window of my pickup truck with my AC cranked up, my clothes all nice and clean. Shit. That'd be all right. On the other hand, I was looking for a job when I found this one. I don't need this work like you need this work done. You look like you're under pressure. You look like you're under pressure. Lord, you look like you're on a little pressure ball. Appreciate being invited back, and I want to tell you something. I tell you a lot. I say it all the time because I mean it all the time. If you've never seen me play before, my name's Todd Snider. I've been driving around since I can't remember. I've been making this shit up. I'm singing for anybody that'll listen to it. Some of the songs are a little sad, some are short, some are longer than others. Sometimes I'll ramble on for as many as 18 minutes in between the songs. And lately my friends have been telling me that my songs have gotten more and more opinionated. And I'm not going to deny that, but I'm going to tell you early in the show that while I might share some of my opinions with you over the course of the evening, I'm not going to share them with you because I think they're smart or because I think that you need to know them. I'm going to share them with you because they rhyme. And I didn't come out here. Change none of y'all's minds about nothing. I come down here to ease my own mind. So with that said, I want to thank all y'all for coming down and giving me a chance to sing for you and get to see your town tonight. I've had a great time around here today. And so, I'd like to come back soon. This song's not opinionated or nothing. This is, might be my favorite one. I want to do it for my wife. She's with me tonight. And this is the first song I made up for her. It goes like this. There you sit, all by yourself. You're trying to quit, like everybody else. The cigarettes, the smoke in your eye. I see a bunch of regrets in there too. Hey there, lonely girl, I got a lonely boy for you. Like a sunny day, some places the music plays, but it don't help. Through the hay, you roll your eyes. Every day I wonder what you see. Hey there, lonely girl, I think you're the only girl for me. You're the only girl in this whole wide world. Only throw your pearls at me. Here I sit, all by myself. I'm trying to quit for something else. A cigarette, the smoke in my eye. I've got a bunch of regrets too. Hey there, lonely girl, have I got a lonely boy for you? We're doing 2 sets, you know, right? Did you know that? We're doing 2 sets? Cool, so be thinking if you got something you want to hear, just write it on a napkin or something. I guess you don't have napkins because you had to bring your own beer, didn't you? Yeah, don't yell at me though, because I took a lot of drugs when I was a kid and that freaked said it here, I'm going to play a bunch of stuff that I had on my chest, you know, and then I'll take a little break, and then I'll play whatever you want to hear me play. I appreciate you coming out to let me do this. Hank Williams, he came up from Montgomery. He had a heart full of hard rock country song. But Nashville, Tennessee, they didn't understand him, 'cause he did things differently than the way that they were done. But when he finally made it to the Grand Ole Opry, he gave it a thrill. He ended up on alcohol and pill. Elvis Presley, he came up from Jackson. He had a brand new way of singing, Lord, he had a brand new way of dancing. And even from just the waist up, Lord God, he gave the whole world a cheer. He ended up on alcohol and pill. Alcohol and pill, it's a crying shame. You think they might have been happy with the glory and fame. The fame don't take away the pain, it just pays the bill. They wind up on alcohol and pill. Janet Joplin, she was wild and reckless. Then there was Grandpa Sam, and then there was Jimi Hendrix. The story just goes on, and I guess it always will. They ended up on alcohol and pill. Alcohol and pill, it's a crying shame. You think they might have been happy with the glory and fame. Fame don't take away the pain, it just pays the bill. They wind up on alcohol and pill. Then one day somebody won't wake up one day. Sometimes it's a heart attack, sometimes they won't say. But when they poor old Hank Williams out of that Cadillac coupe de ville, he'd ended up on alcohol and pill. Alcohol and pill, it's a crying shame, Lord. You think they might have been happy with the glory and the fame. The fame don't take away the pain, it just pays the bill. And they wind up on alcohol and pill. They wind up on alcohol and pill. I had a plan. I'll get back to it in a second. But
He's good though.
go, watching those taillights leave him behind. Thrown from a limousine for speaking his mind, like a red-eyed photo into a garbage can. The corner of a hero and also ran. A fragile heart skips a fragile beat. It's warm in a limousine, cold on the street. A thin wild Mercury, go to me. Things will go your way all at once. Thin wild Mercury, and go to me. You know what they say. I don't. It was all over some new Dylan song that Phil had the nerve to say sounded wrong. Dylan stopped the car, words shook like a fist. He said, Phil, you ain't a writer, you're a journalist. Death of a rebel, twist of fate. If he ever thought better, he thought too late. Poor Phil Oaks, he slipped through the cracks. Judas went electric and he never looked back. The thin wild Mercury, go away. Things will go your way all at once. The thin wild Mercury, go away. You know what they say. I don't. D.B. Cooper said his name, 47 miles away from where he fell down to his vein. But he told me that the hardest part wasn't really jumping out of that plane. They were spending the night watching police lights shine down to the pouring rain. Well, they had a man running that next morning like nothing I had ever seen. And I was only 8 years old at the time. I was watching on the TV screen. They were saying we were never gonna make it now. The daylight had set in. But later that night they were shining them lights back down on the mountain again. And not far away from the city of roses, they all watch those lights up through the rain. For D.B. Cooper. So city of roses. The light shine from a hillside in the rain. It's by the DB Cooper, drinking champagne.
Old Todd, brother. Yeah.
This last song's about a hero from my hometown. This is about another group of heroes from my hometown. I got to meet these guys in the last few years, at least on the telephone. They had a band in the early 60s that put out a song that was so allegedly sexually suggestive and lewd that the government opened up a file on the song. I don't know if I played this for you last time I was in town, but if I didn't, my hope is that this will inspire people to have sex with each other. The Kingsmen came together in a garage. They could hardly even play, but they practiced night and day, and pretty soon they got to where they could really play that song, Louie Louie. So they saved up all the money from their shows, went into one of those studios and gave their version of that song, Louie Louie a try. Now, I don't know the words to that song, Louie Louie, and I'm pretty sure that the singer for the Kingsmen didn't know him either. If he did know him, he didn't get him right on the record, because on the record they sound completely jumbled in his jaw. Says me think of me, girl, oh so constantly. Well, it was that last part that scared everybody from the PTA to the FBI. You see, the kids have been going kind of crazy lately, and it seemed like nobody could figure out why. So they decided to form a coalition and launch an investigation, you know, for the children. They figured they at least had to try to figure out the words to that song, Louie Louie. It still feels good. It is endless summer. It gets the kids out of control, singing along to that star-spangled banner. Hail, hail, rock and roll. You know, Marilyn Manson's real name's not even Marilyn Manson. He's a skinny public high school kid from Ohio. He's not some monster from out of this world. And like a lot of skinny public high school kids, he was sick of getting beaten up by the pulling guard all week, only to go out on the weekend and watch the quarterback get all the girls. So he formed a band, man. And now he gets a lot of chicks. They're weird chicks, but they're chicks. Latchkey kids go tragically mad. Everybody's gathered around the television store at the mall trying to figure out what went wrong. This guy says, you think the life of a kid going to school around here could have gotten that bad? This other guy said, no, probably just the words to one of those goddamn Marilyn Manson songs. You know which one I'm talking about. It still feels good. Here this is summer. It gets the kids out of control, singing along to that star-spangled banner. Hail, hail, rock and roll. You know, every 10 years or so, our country and some other little country, we start firing all of our newest weapons at each other. For some reason or another, right or wrong, like it or not, it happens. And when it happens, people get shot. When people get shot, they show that on television a lot, every night at 6 o'clock. And you don't have to be 18 to see that. You don't even have to be in first grade. First grade, where they'll teach a kid to pride. They tell him he gonna need to thrive in a world where they say that only the strong will survive. So he's taught the art of more, to compare to keep score, Monday through Friday while he stares at the floor, till Sunday they make him go to school once more, only this time they make him wear a suit and a tie, and listen to some guy who claims to know where people go when they die, tell him that only the meek are gonna inherit the earth. Well, God, which is it? Shit, now this time, how could anybody's kid know what anything was worth? Now, brothers and sisters, I'm only one guy. I don't even know the words to that song, Louie Louie. But I can tell you right now without batting an eye, the next time some latchkey kid goes wrong, it ain't gonna be because of the words to some David Zolo song. And I let's get it on. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. This is a story song goes like this.
There it is.
Well, there's a Coke machine blowing through a parking lot. Call it a room with a view. This was the best night of pool that I ever shot. I made a lot of money too, looking for some company in the weekly scene. A scene that just had to be you. I hadn't seen you since New Orleans. I never did figure out where you'd run off to. I know I looked bad the last time you saw me, but lately I've been doing alright. I won a tournament last week in Oklahoma City, hustle half of this town tonight. I got some cocaine, if you want some, it's the best that I could find. Either we could just sit here and talk all night. If that big old guy out in the car don't mind, like old time. Screw off the top on the bottle of wine. We're living out our own kind of American dream, just like old time. Your goal was always the same as mine. You didn't want to throw fishy in line in that old mainstream. No, I'm not expecting anybody but you. I don't know who this could be at the door, but I'm pretty sure that you've got a clue, and I'll bet you've been to this hotel before. But do you know what? In the bathroom, but don't flush it down just yet. Put your pager in my suitcase, I'll get the window, you light a cigarette. It'll be like old time. We'll screw off the top on a bottle of wine. We're living on our own kind of American dream. It's just like old time. Your goal was always the same as mine. You didn't want to throw your fishing line in that old mainstream. No, sir, officer, you don't understand. It's two old friends drinking wine. I'm sure she is, but that's not all she is. She is also an old friend of mine. I got her high school picture, it's right here in my wallet, 1982. I say, no, sir, officer, no offense taken. You have a good night, too. It's a good thing we didn't throw this away. Baby, turn up the radio. Well, I'm pretty sure that cop knew what we were up to. I guess he just decided to let us go. ain't such a thing about the picture. That was just something I kept. Oh, don't get all sentimental on me now, girl. You haven't even told me what your new name is yet. Old time, just like the old times, we're living out our own kind of American dream. It's just like old time. Your goal was always the same as mine. You didn't want to throw a fishy line in that old main stream, and you didn't. I'm gonna leave you this one. I'll dedicate this to one of the best friends I got, my girl Libby. She's here tonight too. This is a song, I don't know if I played it for you before, but I was thinking about this because I gotta go to Pomeroy tomorrow. And I'm reminded of the time that I had to get down from Lake Tahoe to Reno, Nevada to make a gig down there. And we rented a car, me and my buddy Will rented a car, and we drove behind the van. It seemed like everything was going fine. Then it started to snow. And we didn't know much about driving in the snow, but we figured we would press into it. We had a Richard Thompson CD playing, and everything was going all right. Then we hit this patch of ice, and we started sliding towards an entirely different car than the one that we was in. And I knew in that moment that we were going to crash. And there's a brief moment between realizing you're going to crash your car and actually crashing your car. It was in that brief moment that I come up with this song I'm about to play this evening. So I think you'll understand that there was only one chord in the song as I was pressed for time. Well, the truck turned over on the highway, flares burning out of the snow, freezing rain in my passing lane. I got 45 miles to go. 45 miles, dog's gonna take me all night. I should've known right away that something was wrong when I started thinking things was alright. Things ain't alright. My old man's sick, my sister's going broke. They're closing down my favorite bar. I got a smoker's cough, and now to top it all off, I think I'm about to wreck my car. I'm about to wreck my car. They say life goes in stages like seasons. I said something about all of them sucks. It's as hard to be hot as it is to be cold. You're either out of control or you're stuck. You're either out of control or you're stuck. Take whatever road that you've got to, baby. Be careful of that ice and that snow. I ain't got time to change my mind. I got 45 miles to go. 45 miles. 45 miles. Road's gonna take me all night. I should've known right away that something was wrong when I started thinking things was alright. Things are not alright. Things are not alright. Things are not alright. Oh, God Almighty in heaven knows that everything's not alright.
said Todd. You guys have never seen Todd.
This is the one I asked for, Ken.
Little out of place, little out of tune, so lost in space, racing along, climbing the wall of a hurricane, still over all, can't complain. All I wanted was one chance to let freedom ring. They said I'd have to get a permit, bunch of tags and everything. I never made it through the red tape. I got this paper hat, I got a job working weekdays. You want fries with that? I got nothing to lose. There's nothing to gain. It's like a one-way ticket to cruise in the passing lane. I can't complain. I was talking with my girlfriend, told her I was stressed. I said I'm going off the deep end. She said, God, for once give it a rest. We're all waiting in the dugout, thinking we should pitch. How you gonna throw a shutout if all you do is bitch? I got nothing to lose, there's nothing to gain. It's like a one-way ticket to cruise in the passing lane. I can't complain. Now I've got a brand new dance. I need one more shot. I just need one last chance. You know I won't get caught. I'm gonna make my last stand, and this time I can't be bought. But then again, on the other hand, how much have you got? I got nothing to lose, ain't nothing to gain. It's like a one-way ticket to cruise in the passing lane. I can't complain. Little out of place, little out of tune, so lost in space, racing alone, climbing the wall of a hurricane, still over all. I can't complain. Hey, how are you all? I can't complain. It won't work this morning. I can't punch in. There's too many questions under my skin. My back is aching. I'm so confused. I can't help but feeling like I am being used. I did like they told me to. I settled down. Now I'm going crazy. I'm working at this job I got downtown. How did I get here? Why do I stay? And who are all these people that I check in with every day? I need a room to think this over. I need a ride out to Horseshoe Lake. I won't feel like it makes a difference. What difference one man makes? They say one man will make some money, one man makes a time. I don't need a shrink. I need some time away from all of this. I need a drink. How did I get here? Where will I go? Why am I so haunted by everything that I don't know? I need a room to think this over. I need a ride at the horseshoe lake. I wanna feel like it makes a difference. What difference one man makes? They say one man makes some money, one man makes the time, but I need some time to think this over. I wanna make up my own mind. I need a room to think this over. I wanna make up my own mind. I need a room to think this over. I wanna make up my own. I was sitting there now, going through all the songs people wrote down. It made me feel good that there were so many different songs written down. But I'm going to try to do them all if I can. I don't know if I'll be able to get to all of them, and as many as there are now, there's some I don't even remember all the words to. I can't believe how many I do remember the words to. I've been out here on this road all this time. I got this one song that people wanted to hear, and it's the oldest song that I play, and it's the oldest one I got. I made it up in my dad's attic. He let me stay there for about a week. And that's true. I made this song up in the summer of 1989. A lot of people remember that as the 20th anniversary of the summer of 1969. And if you remember right, there was a lot of, I say that because the 60s were back in full bloom at that time. If you remember right, they had Woodstock again, they were selling tie-dye t-shirts again, they were more expensive, Woodstock was more expensive. The Grateful Dead were more popular than they'd ever been, and they were more expensive. And I was playing at this club called the Daily Planet every Thursday, and I would go down to the club a little early and drink beer before the show to take my nerves off. They'd give them to me for free, right? And so I'd go down there early, and they had a television behind the bar, and so I would just sit there and have my beers and watch the TV, waiting for the crowd to come in. And one night I was sitting there with this guy. I didn't talk to him or nothing, but he had real long silver hair down past his ass, and he was kind of lizard-eyed, like he might have been high on marijuana, I think. And I'm watching the screen, and it's like the 5th time that summer I'd seen this kind of thing. It was clearly a documentary. They didn't have the sound up, but you could see as hippies twirling around in fields and stuff, and Jimi Hendrix playing with his bandana on. I thought, oh, this is one of those kind of Woodstock things again. And then just as they went to a commercial, they had block letters up that said, "The Woodstock generation, where have they gone?" Right? I guess that was the title of the documentary because they had it in block letters as they went to a commercial. And I was looking up at the screen and looking over at this guy that I was sitting next to. And now I'd look up and then look back over at this guy. And they didn't put up a phone number or nothing. They just asked the questions, so I couldn't turn them in or But I started to get riled up for my own generation because I was trying to be a folk singer myself. And so I turned to this guy and I said, "Hey man, do you ever get the impression that 20 years from now when we look back on the summer of '89, the only thing we're going to be able to reminisce about is how much we reminisced about the summer of '69? He said, "Well, there's a reason for that, son." I said, "What?" He said, "Your generation hasn't done shit." I said, "Hey, come on, man." He said, "Name something." I couldn't think of nothing. defend my generation. Worst case, writer's block I ever bought. Goes like that. Well, my old man says the Woodstock generation found a way to make this nation open up its eyes and take a look around. He says my generation ain't good for nothing, but I can think of something, so I thought I'd jot it down. Here's the hair gel, hanging out at the health spa, using condom sense and watching Arsenio Hall. Here's the drum machines, stonewash jeans, credit cards and fax machines, and big bow-headed chicks and frat guys wearing $40 tie-dye t-shirts with those big bow paisley ties. And here's to living off your dad as long as you can and blending in with the crowd. Oh, my generation, Lord knows my generation should be proud. We were raised up in the hallowed halls of 500,000 shopping malls, and there isn't any price we're too proud to let our parents pay. We'll buy anything from Diet Sprite to 1,000 points of light. Listen, I never said that we were very bright, but I'm proud anyway. Hey, here's the hair gel, hanging out at the health spa, using condom scents and watching L.A. Law. Here's the drum machines, stonewash jeans, credit cards and fax machines, big bow-headed chicks and frat guys wear $40 tie-dye t-shirts and big bow paisley ties. And here's to living off your dad as long as you can and blending in with the crowd. Oh, my generation, Lord knows my generation should be proud. Smoking on black Cadillac, engine winding down. Park it up on the sidewalk like he owned the whole damn town. And him talking to some chick through a thick ghost of smoke, through the thicker haze of southern comfort and cold. Say, girl, you are hotter than the hinges hanging off the gates of hell. Don't be afraid to turn to me, baby, if he don't treat you well. And but he meant me, so I laughed and I shook his head. He laughed a little bit louder as he would yell about the band and play a train song and pour me one more round, make him leave my boots on the day that they lay me down. I'm the wrong way, locomotive, I'm a one-track mind, and I'm looking for any kind of trouble that I can't find. I've got this old black leather jacket, got this pack of Marlboro Red, this stash here in my pocket, got these thoughts in my own head. Right to run until I've got to walk, till I've got to crawl. I got this moment that I'm in right now, and nothing else at all. Play a train song, pour me one more round, make them leave my boots on the day that they lay me down. I'm a wrong way, locomotive, out of my one-track mind. In the television blizzard lights, we looked around this place, found him cold down on his sofa, a little smile across his face. No, I tried with all of my sadness, somehow I still could not weep. Before a man who looked to me like he died laughing in his sleep, singing their train song. Only one last round, made him leave his boots on the day that they laid him down. He was a runaway, locomotive out of his one-track mind. Play train song, play train song, play train song, play train song. Yeah. That was for Libby too, that last one. She lives right down the street. Everyone has days like I'm having, holding on to anything that I can to keep myself from anything but laughing while I'm looking back about as far as I can stand. Out my window, winter is almost over. I can almost see the sun behind these clouds. But looking back on where I was a year ago today, laughing at the shape I'm in now. When I was a child, I spoke as a child, but all I heard was how I should get here. But now growing up, it ain't anything but all this indecision with these debts, doubts, and worries hanging over my head. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I wish I could remember what I said. I wish I could find that old time feeling back someplace in between what I've become. You know, somewhere down the line it must have seemed appealing, so I suppose that this must work for some. But I'm going back to going crazy, believing every word that I was told. You know, sometimes growing up, I think I'm getting wiser, and then other times I think I'm getting old. When I was a child, I spoke as a child, but all I heard was how I should get here. Now growing up ain't anything but all this indecision with these debts and doubts and worries we've got hanging over our heads. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I wish I could remember what I said. Lord, I wish I could remember what I said. An empty house is hard to bear. Lonesome's falling everywhere. Without you, there's just no light coming in. That lucky dog jumped the fence. I ain't seen him round here since, and I don't guess I ever will again. It didn't bother me any. I was good to that dog, and just like you, I'm going to have to learn to let him go. Leaving me was one thing, Carla. Why'd you have to leave so slow? Slow and shifty backing out. You were trying to fill my head with doubt. You nearly had me walking out on you. About the oldest trick to be playing on someone as old as me. That cannot be the best that you can do. It didn't bother me any when he come around. I just wish I had to be the last guy in town to know. I didn't mind you walking away. What I heard was how you walked so slow. You know you're coming. Just as you landed, after holding me the whole time you fell. You tell me he'll be good to you, it wouldn't be what else is new. Now all that I can do is wish you well. It wouldn't have bothered me any if you'd have left me when you wanted to, but you just had to wait till you had someplace better to go. Leaving me was one thing, Carla. Why'd you have to leave so slow? You know, I said I didn't mind you walking away. What I heard was how you walked so slow. They wanted 6, so to save some money, they got one off these hippies that smelled kind of funny, and the next thing they knew, they were both really hungry and pretty thirsty too. Laid his fake ID on the countertop. The clerk looked, he turned, he looked back up, and he stopped, and he said, "Kid, I'm not gonna call the cops, but I gotta keep this card." The guys both took it pretty hard. They took it pretty hard. B-double-E-double-R-U-M, beer run. B-double-E-double-R-U-M, beer run. Oh, how happy we would be if we only bought a fake ID on B-double-E-double-R-U-M, beer run. But this other old hippie named Sleepy John, he said he was the guy from the Robert Earl song. We gave him the cash, he bought him some brews. It's a beautiful day out in Santa Cruz. They were feeling so good, should have been a crime. The crowd was cool, the band was prime. Made it back up front to their seats just in time to sing with all their friends. I mean, if you know, say, the road goes on forever and the party never ends. Yeah, y'all sing along. I didn't think you'd be up for singing. It seems like such a nice, it's a Saturday night though, right? It seems like some of you brought your own liquor. I get a every once in a while. Just the other night, I was hanging around in my house. I had that new book with all those pictures of Madonna naked, and I was checking it out. Just then a friend of mine came through the door, said she never paid me for a scumbag before, said she didn't ever want to see me anymore, and I still don't know why. I think I'm an alright guy. I think I'm an alright guy. I just wanna live until I die. I ain't perfect, but I knows I try. I think I'm an alright guy. I think I'm alright. I know I'm dirty and I know I've smoked a lot of reefer in my time. It ain't like I went on TV and took a picture of the Pope like Snider did that time. I know I get wild, I know I get drunk, but it ain't like I've got a bunch of bodies in my trunk. Old man used to call me a no good punk, and I still don't know why. I think I'm an alright guy. I think I'm an alright guy. I just wanna live until I gotta die. I know I ain't perfect, but I knows I try. I think I'm an alright guy. I think I'm alright. Now just the other night, you know, these cops pulled me over outside of a bar. They turned on their lights. They said, "Hey, old timer, we're gonna have to ask you to step out of the car." I was only kidding when I called a couple of dicks. Still living and do the stupid human tricks. Now I'm stuck in this jail, living on dumb hits, and I still don't know why. I think I'm an alright guy. I think I'm an alright guy. I just wanna live until I gotta die. I know I ain't perfect, but God knows I try. I think I'm an alright guy. I think I'm alright. I think I'm an alright guy. I think I'm alright. 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 I think I'm an alright guy. Lord, I think I'm Oh, Miss Virgin tended bar, got a shack out in the hills. It never made no money, boy, but it paid up all of her bills. She must have been 80 years old, but her heart was warm and her beer was cold. She gave away more than she ever sold. She's smiling all the time. I used to sing off in the courtroom every Friday night. To a loud crowd of cowboys, bikers and ballroom and fight. They were drinking beer and carrying on. Not a one of them was listening to one of my songs, but old Miss Virgin, she was singing along. She said she knew all by heart. And then one night after closing, she poured me a beer. She said, "Come over here and sit down, you little shit. I got something that you need to hear." She said, "Life isn't easy getting through. Everybody's gonna make things tough on you, but I can tell you right now, if you did what you do, they gon' never get you down." She said, "Life's too short to than 15 years. I've been bumming around this country, singing my songs for tips and beer. Mostly beer is down the nights are long, times are tough, hotels are weird and the pay sucks, but I can't dig what I do enough. Lord never gets me down. I like to sing life's too short to worry. I like to say life's too long to wait. It's too short not to love everybody, life's too long to hate. I meet a lot of men, they haggle and finagle all the time, trying to save a nickel or make a dime. Not me more than no serene, Lord, I ain't got the time. Not me more than no serene, Lord, I ain't got the time. You know, somebody asked me to tell that story about Todd. I'm gonna try to tell you a story I haven't told you before, but I will give you a reprise to this story just for anyone that's ever heard of it. If you did hear that story on the live record about my buddy Todd, you might have noticed in the liner notes of the live record that I put in there, Todd, where are you? Because I had lost touch with him for about 10 years. And when that record came out, I went on the road and I promoted it. And then when I got home, there was this message on my machine. It said, Todd, this is Todd. I'm right here, man. Driving all day, we both said nothing. You threw your face in the magazine. I tuned into the old East Station. I flew away in a time machine. This world is so amazing. The sun is shining and it's raining too. I waited all my life for you. I don't mind sometimes not talking. Sometimes there's nothing to say. Anyway, I know what you're thinking. I kinda like it when you think that way. I think I'll just keep on driving. Anywhere will do. I waited all my life for all this time. I knew you were out there. All this time I knew someday that I would find you so. Some people tell you everything that they think of. They say yes I will, but they never do. Sometimes I've gotta ask you to speak up. Everything that you say is true. Say you'll be mine forever. Never leave me blue. I waited all my life for you. Try a new song on you guys. It's a baseball related song. Did research on that. It's a true story if you care to follow it. Doc Ellis didn't think he was pitching that day back in 1970. But when he and his wife took a trip to the ballpark a little bit differently. So by the time that he hit the bullpen, half the world had melted away. Now that's about the time Coach Murtaugh came and said, Doc, you're pitching today. Taking the mound, the ground turned into the icing on a birthday cake. The leadoff man came up and turned into a dancing rattlesnake. The crowd tracked back and forth in waves of color underneath the sun. That ball turned into a silver bullet, his arm into a gun. I took a look all around the world one time. I finally discovered, Lord, zero type. As all those batters' names came ringing from a voice out of the sky, hallucinating Halloween scenes, each new swing of the bat. His sinker looked like it was falling off a table, but nobody was hallucinating that. I took a look all around the world one time, finally discovered you can't judge a book by the top of the seventh. He was up 1-0 and giving those Padres fit. By the bottom of the eighth, he was up 2-0 and they still hadn't got any hit. With 1 out left to go in the game, the batter turned to a baby child. That birthday cake was shaking, those waves of color wasn't going wild. He was high as he had ever been. He was laughing to the sound of that world going round, completely unaware of the wind. And while the papers would say that he was scouted that day, he was pretty as a pitcher could be. The day Doc Ellis of the Pittsburgh Pirates threw a no-hitter on LSD. I said, look all around the world. No, you can't judge a book tender shit. Reminds of a combination of alcohol, hallucinogenic drugs and athleticism. You don't hear a lot of that in popular music anymore. My dad was a big jock guy, he wanted me and my brother to be jock guys. And my brother was really good at sports, but I wasn't as good at them. I tried though, and I tried. By the time I was a junior in high school, I went to Beaverton High School in Beaverton, Oregon. We're called the Beaverton Beavers, if you can imagine, right? By the time I was a junior in high school at Beaverton High School, I was on the varsity football team, and I wasn't playing during the games, but I was on the team, which means that if you're running a kind of football team in high school, it means that you and 40 other guys are going to get together for about 4 months out of the year, get together every day for about 90 minutes, go into an area, change out of your comfortable outfits into these really uncomfortable outfits. Then you're going to go outside, whether it's really, really hot or really, really cold or anywhere in between. You're going to go out there and you're going to run into and away from each other, all in relationship to the movement of this ball while consistently being yelled at by adults. And I remember my parents, well, that is kind of what it is, right? I mean, sometimes you do it right after school, sometimes you'll do it at a different school, sometimes you'll get a bunch of kids from other schools to come do it with you. But tangibly, what I'm saying is what you're fucking doing. My parents told me I was representing the community. I didn't know I'd never heard of that. I didn't even know what a community was. Or that we were gonna win district if we worked hard. I didn't even know I was from a district, let alone that it was up for grabs. And now I got this uncomfortable outfit on, I'm in the fucking field running out with all these other guys trying to win the fucking thing, right? I found it disparaging. But I did it because it felt like, you just do what your folks tell you to do, don't you? So I did it, man. And we'd go out and practice, and we'd try to kick it through the uprights, and we would push that sled. You know the sled? If you even went to any high school, you saw the fucking sled that's out behind it. And those kids, we waited in line to push that thing. I will never do that again. I don't know how to talk me into that. And so one day I'm waiting in line to push a sled, right? And I look across this field that I've been standing in for 2 years, and I see these guys, like another group of guys. They don't have uncomfortable outfits on or nothing. Some of them are even smoking cigarettes, and they got chicks hanging around. And so I nudged this guy in front of me. I said, "Who are those guys over there?" He said, "Oh, that's the smoke pit, man." So what's the smoke pit? He said, well, that's where the burnouts hang out. I said, oh, what's a burnout? He said, they hang out in the smoke pit. And I didn't know any more than when I started, so I asked the coach. I said, Coach, what's a burnout from the smoke pit? He said, oh, I'd hate to see you turn into a burnout from the smoke pit. I said, what do you mean, Coach? He said, I don't mean to disparage nobody, but those kids, those are just these losers, man. They're these dirty sheep. They're standing around in the field. They're not really doing anything. And I thought, well, okay. So I went on about my life and went to practice and went to school. One day I was sitting in the cafeteria eating my food, and this kid sits next to me, and I clearly recognize him as a burnout from the smoke pit. But he seemed harmless, so we just started talking, and we started talking. He seemed as nice as anybody I knew from the football team, too. And he said, hey, man, Snider, have you ever tried any psychedelic mushrooms before? And I said, no, man, I never tried nothing like that. He said, would you like to try something like that? I said, sure, man, I'll do something like that. So he handed me a bunch of them, and I ate them. And when I ate them, about a half an hour later, I knew for sure that I wasn't going to go back to football practice that afternoon. In school, there was no way I was going to. So I went over to that other field that I had never been to. And I stood over there for a while in my comfortable outfit. And it was the first time I had ever seen the life that had been planned for me from a distance, right? There they were, the football team. And I ain't trying to disparage anybody either, but they could have been described, if you wanted to make the argument that they looked like dirty sheep standing around in the field not really doing anything, you could have made that argument. And I'm not trying to disparage anybody either, but just as I was thinking that, I noticed that the goalposts that we've been chasing all that summer and fall had turned into candles, and I thought, well, that ain't right. Then it turned into Roman candles. You don't have to believe me if you don't want to, but then it turned into a Roman candle and shot into the sky. And who would make that shit up, right? So I'm thinking, well, my reality has clearly been altered, and I look over to that sled that we've been pushing, and the guys, they're still pushing it, right? But now it has morphed slowly into Fred G. Sanford himself from the hit situation television comedy Sanford and Son that some of you might remember from the 70s. And they're pushing him, and he's holding his chest like it's the big one, right? And then, I wouldn't make this up, I'm not trying to bait you, but they could turn into Jesus, who I love and adore. And I thought, why are they pushing him? And they were pushing him, waiting in line to push him. And then they kept pushing, and I'm watching it, and then it morphed into this other guy that wasn't Jesus, but looked like Jesus, with a beard and sandals and a robe, like maybe one of them guys that had run with Jesus back in the day. And they were pushing him too. And I couldn't take my eyes off him. And he looked over at me, I swear, and we made eye contact with each other. And he yelled across to me, he said, do you have 2 10s for a 5? Or 2 quarters for a nickel? And I thought, why would he ask me something like that across a big field like this? And then he said, do you know how to get to Arca Butler? Or can a brother even get there from here? And I thought, I don't even know what that means either. But I knew this, friends and neighbors and brothers and sisters, I was never going back to football practice again. For as long as I live. And I ironically still follow Coach Boyer and the Beaverton Beavers to this very day, because I think A, that we might win district next year, and B, we got the coolest goalposts in the whole fucking state. Tender story of how psychedelic mushrooms turned me from the scoreboard watching jock that my dad wanted me to be into the peace-loving, pot-smoking, porn-watching, lazy-ass nigga that stands before millions of your TV to keep it. Friend of Jesus, Mr. Sanford, stay in school, kids. Conservative Christian, right-wing Republican, straight white American male, soul-saving, flag-waving, rush-loving, lamb-paving, personal friends to the quail, quite diligently, worked so hard to keep the free reins of this democracy, from tree-hugging, peace-loving, pot-smoking, porn-watching, lazy-ass hippies like me. Tree-hugging, peace-loving, pro-choice and gay wedding, widespread panic-digging hippies like me. Skin color blinded, conspiracy-minded, protesters of corporate most likely will till we all end up locked up in jail by conservative Christian, right-wing Republican, straight white American men. Diamonds and dogs, boys and girls, we're living together in two separate worlds. We're following leaders up mountains of shame, we're looking for someone to blame. I know who I like to blame. Conservative Christian, right-wing Republican, straight white American man. Soul-saving, flag-waving, rust-loving, lamp-paving, regional leaders of sand. With a shirt-tugging, frat housing, cake-tapping, back-slapping, hater of hippies like me. A tree-hugging, peace-loving, pot-smoking, porn-watching, lazy-ass hippies like me. A tree-hugging, peace-loving, pot-smoking, porn-watching, lazy-ass hippies like me. Oh, it's a peace-loving, pot-smoking, tree-hugging, barefoot-in folk singing hippie like me. There's only two kinds of people as far as I can tell. The terminally ill and the worried well. Every time I've tried to climb out of my wishing well, I only made it up just high enough to hurt when I fell. Well, did you ever wonder? Of course you did. I've always wondered how you kept it all so well hid. I've had my heart wide open since I was a kid. I've got a lot of love. I got a lot of love. Always inches from my ankles when it runs out of chain. My neighbor's dog knows I know how to drive him insane. I like to give him a little taste of what I'm feeling all day. Always chasing after something slightly too far away. You think that you're down to nothing, you ain't seen nothing yet. I'm down and out to just about as nothing as it gets. I am working all day, every day to pay my debts. I need a lot of love, I need a ton of it. Reckless fools. He lived by his own set of not so golden rules. The kind of show-off that hated a show-off's guts. I've always figured that's what must be driving us nuts. I sing I got a lot of love. I got a lot of love. tell you all I was sick. So you'll know that I was right when you go walking on past. You tried to tell me I was well, but look who's laughing last. Did you ever wonder the horse you did? I've always wondered how you kept it all so well hid. And my heart wide open since I was a kid. I got a lot. I got a ton of it high. I got a lot of love. I got a lot of nowhere to go, no one to call, nothing to do except for nothing at all. It's the same old climb up, the same old wall that I have fallen down before. You see, I've been down, I've been a little bit depressed. Sure, I feel a little overworked, I've been overstressed, but deep in my heart I know I'm blessed. I ain't gonna cry no more. No, I ain't gonna cry, I ain't gonna scream, I ain't letting nobody kick a hole in my dreams. I will not be falling apart at the seams like I've always done before. You see, I've used my fists and I've used my voice, I've used myself like a cheap Rolls Royce. I never knew that I could just use my choice. I ain't gonna cry no more, ain't gonna do it. Y'all thank you for being so nice to me. I had a lot of fun. People talk behind people's backs. They scheme and they plot and they plan attacks. But someday soon we will be switching tracks. Any way that this world